Hey guys, I'm back with another speed build. It was great to do another speed build after trying my hand at stop motion, back in familiar territory. So this one is the Gnome Creek, inspired by RETHASIM. I will put the link below so you could participate if you want to build a lot for her fantasy save. This again is kind of, I looked at a lot of pictures of gnome houses, and here I saw that a lot of them have trees, live in trees, and I was able to find a debug tree that Sims can actually walk through, and so I created this doorway that goes to the underground dwelling. And then I thought, okay, underground dwelling, that's kind of like Tolkien's hobbits, so you'll see I actually create like basically homes that are in the Shire or Hobbiton. And then I thought, you know, this mushroom here, the oversized mushroom, because gnomes are supposed to be small typically, and so, you know, I wanted everything to be oversized and have that oversized feel. I use the Twisted Mexies tool mod very heavily in this. You don't have to have it. It's considered not custom content when you place the lot. Definitely make sure you have move objects on, because as you can see, things are placed in a very non-traditional way, non-grid forming way, conforming. I also use a lot of the debug items. Again, Sims a lot of times can route through them, so you'll see that if you place this lot and you were to play it, that your Sims are actually gonna, these stairs here, they're actually gonna go through the stairs. I think just with the way the edge of the hill is there, that they need more room, and so they actually go through the stairs, but I don't mind that as long as it's functional. This build is very abbreviated. I skip over a lot of stuff. One, because it would be a hour-long video if I showed you every little thing. Two, I ended up changing a lot of it because once I play tested it, I had to move things to make sure that Sim could access everything, and so that was an issue. I didn't want to show you, you know, everything that I'm placing exactly so, and then the final version is completely different. So for those two reasons, I ended up doing it the way I did. But you get, I think, get the basic gist of how I did things. I use that, you'll see that I, in order to get that deck placed correctly, you build a room and then put one on top of it, and then you delete, like right here, delete it, and then you can slide that up and down to get the right height. I use that a lot. You'll see that I leave them in place because when you're building, anything you place using that method has a tendency to disappear when you change things, or like when you move a wall or delete a wall, it'll delete those alternatively placed things. And so I wanted to leave the like the height guide right there that you see. I left that in place until I was pretty close to done, just in case my roof got deleted here and I could replace it then. I have to have the round doorway, just, you know, it's so typical of the Hobbit hole, and so I used the window and just placed it a little lower using the tool mod. These obviously are not functional. they don't connect properly to the basement level. So they're kind of their own standalone thing just for looks. But I really am pleased with the way it turned out. I'm using here some paintings from the debug menu to so you can't see the wall behind it, so it actually looks kind of like a door rather than, you know, seeing the brick through the window. And of course I looked at I've seen the Lord of the Rings movies many times, but I looked at a lot of pictures for reference, and a lot of them have all these plants, you know. I think hobbits were gardeners, definitely. And so that was a definite inspiration. I think there's a lot of similarities between the gnomes and the hobbits, so it was pretty fun with my creativity to create this lot. It was kind of tricky to get the routing correctly so that Sims could actually use it, and unfortunately I'm having trouble getting them to route, and I'll show you at the end what I did to remedy that. But there's only one way for them to get up to this upper level, and that's the stairs I place in the back. And when I place the lot brand new, they can't. But when I delete the stairs and put the stairs right back, then they can route to the upper level. So I don't know what's going on. It's very strange. I'll show you that at the end. I wanted to put in a watermill. You'll see here kind of the basic way I did it. It's very finicky. I'm using the tool mod to rotate the shelves. That's all the same shelf. And you have to keep in mind that those shelves actually snap to the walls. That's the way they were designed. So I delete the wall here so I can pull it away from that wall. And likewise, I put that ground back in because if I left the water there, it would snap to the wall below. And so each time I need to move one of these shelves, I have to put the ground back in so there's no wall for it to snap to. And so I did a lot of, you know, removing the ground and checking, you know, my heights and making sure that everything was lined up correctly, and then, you know, back and forth between removing the ground and, you know, putting the water back. And so you see here, I'm just checking the looks of everything and then adjusting. So it was very tedious, but I think it looks great. And of course it's not functional. It doesn't spin or anything or move water, but it looks great. It fits with the vibe of the whole build. And again, I looked at, from the movie The Lord of the Rings, I looked at the reference photo of their watermill. And so that was kind of my inspiration for this. Here again, you'll see I used that alternative method to place the roof on top of that short wall, the half wall. Again, you create the room, put one on top, delete the lower one, and then you can slide that second floor up and down to adjust it to whatever height you want. And then you see I have to slide it over. Kate Emerald has a tutorial on how to do that if you're not getting the gist of how I'm doing it. She has a you know, slow version. She explains it very well. That's how I learned to do this method. I did the same thing here for the bridge. Put it on that, and then I could just slide it on down to the height that I needed. And, you know, I think it works really well. Placing the rocks, again, you could do this, lifting them up from the basement. I don't think you'd get the precision, but the tool mod is just far easier to place things in the way that I want it. So I love that. It was the first mod I ever installed because I realized you could be far more creative, and it doesn't count as custom content, which, you know, I really like because not everybody has the same custom content, and if you download something that has custom content that you don't have, it's not going to display correctly. So this is kind of a way around that, where you can have the creativity and place items in an unusual way or create your own, like the water wheel, and everybody can use it. You know, and the great thing is now with console players, they can download and use this lot or any lot that somebody has used the tool mod with. So that's awesome. You know, it's more inclusive that way. Again, I will put the links to the contest and to the tool mod by Twisted Mexi. I use this, if you watch my videos at all, I use this a lot. You know, again, the creativity that it allows, round rooms. You can create round rooms. I redid the Foxbury dorm with some round rooms, and you know, I think it turned out really, really well. Yeah, I cannot sing the praises of this mod enough. And here again, I'm rotating that gate door in a way that you normally wouldn't. Usually it's, you know, snap to diagonal or straight, and with that mod you can kind of adjust things to your liking. I wanted to use this rock wall to make it look more rustic and uniform, and I was able to figure out a way to do it. And it comes up through the top of the building a little bit, but it doesn't affect your Sims routing, and I covered it with some boxes and other things, so you can't even notice it. So I'm definitely pleased with the way that turned out. It looks a little more old-fashioned and again, rustic, and like it's been there for years and years. I also wanted to put in an outhouse. I thought, given the style of the build, that having an outhouse would seem appropriate, and everywhere I put it, it wasn't working, and it looked silly because it was too small. And so I ended up putting the toilet in. I clear out that side room in the fish house or the watermill here, and that's the actual like outhouse. It has its own room. If you don't like that, definitely, you know, put it in downstairs, move it downstairs. There's a bathroom area, while showering, bathing area, and you can move the toilet down there, no issues. And but again, I was thinking they don't have plumbing. It's kind of, you know, old times, old fashioned, and so an outhouse would be appropriate. You wouldn't have the toilet in the house. These days we could do a composting toilet with no running water or electricity or anything, but you know, I don't think people had toilets inside back in those days. Again, so you're not going to have the washer and dryer. I did the wash bin and the clothesline, which I think, you know, is super cute with this build, with the launder hanging out there. I put in a swing. You know, I thought there's not going to be a lot of electronics in this build. There's no electronics in this build, so they need things to do. So, you know, I included painting. I made sure there was books so they could read. You know, things like that that don't require power or running water. And I didn't give it the off-the-grid lot trait, but you definitely could. I think it should be okay. Yeah, I think everything would be functional off the grid. The bedroom here, I wasn't really sure how I wanted to do it. One of the downsides of those roofs, like I said, they have a tendency to disappear, and when I got to a certain point when I was decorating downstairs here, I found out that in the bathroom the Sims couldn't root. Like, there's not enough room for them, and so I had to awkwardly put in this little door, like a couple of doors to extend the area so they can go around. So if you're looking at it and you're wondering what the heck is that for, it's, you know, because I can't delete any of the walls without everything upstairs disappearing. So I ended up doing it this way, and it's functional. You know, it's not the prettiest. I would have preferred to just have it be open like all the rest of the area, but you know, I had to do what I had to do to not ruin the rest of it. You know, I tried to delete it and replace the rooms upstairs, but at the level of stuff that I have, everything was moving with it, and so it just became very difficult to try and correct that downstairs. And I thought, well, if I can make it work, then that's what I'm going to do, rather than lose everything and have to redo it. So that's a little odd. Here again, kitchen, kind of an old-fashioned look. I wanted to have everything real rustic and natural, and again, there's no electronics, no, I guess the fridge, I think, is off the grid, so there's no modern fridge. I wanted to have, the old-time feel with a lot of shelves with a pantry, with, tonics and dishes and things like that you would see. I don't show the building of the bathroom, but I show the picture of it. It's real simple, so I figured I could skip that for y'all. Again, having the wine or the whiskey barrels, or juice, I guess, for our Sims would be really appropriate. Kind of it's a hobbit hole. We're living underground, like where you store your food in the old days to keep it cool. Cellar, the root cellar. They're living in a root cellar, basically. Again, I had to play test this, and things changed. Here you'll see where I was talking about, I just place a lot, and you'll see my sim, I click for him to go up, he can't route. And so what I end up doing is I just take my clone tool, to make sure I've got the exact same one, I delete it, and then I put the same stairs back. And then you'll see here he can route. I don't know why, but that's the way it is. I hope you're all staying safe, stay healthy in these tough times. Thanks for watching.